Well, thank you, Ambassador Kumar. It's a pleasure to be here, and I appreciate the chance to join this conversation. So I will start off by saying I certainly agree with your appraisal of the visit. I think President Barack Obama hit a 6. I think Prime Minister Modi did the same, and I sincerely hope that India will do the same on February 15th in Adelaide. But turning to the outcome, I find it very interesting that you mentioned the question of symbolism and substance, because I think in the time that I've been here, very often on these panels, this is a difficult panel because panels and headlines both like to focus on the negative, and there is so much positive and so little negative in this visit that I think it's a bit of a challenge for all of you, but it's actually a great pleasure for me. So it was a delight how positive it was. And I think both in substance and in symbolism. And that's, I think, the point that you're making is on some of the issues of substance. Let me mention, for example, on what we did on the substance, because to be honest, and you make the point, it scares me a little bit. I'm going to tell you all something that was said to me by Ambassador Richard Verma, our new ambassador here, in a absolutely top secret private briefing for his senior staff. Now, normally I am not allowed to give away these top secret briefings. You know, this is a very taboo sort of thing. But since the ambassador also said it on the television with Karen Thapar, I think I can probably get away with it. And what he said was that as the President Obama was leaving, he said to Ambassador Verma, "Okay, now the hard work really begins." And of course, that's true. He meant that now that the President and the Prime Minister have set this incredibly ambitious roadmap, it's going to be us here on the ground who have to implement it. And so when you ask how ambitious, I go to the document, the joint statement, and I look at what is covered in that joint statement, over 50 paragraphs, and I see, well, on economic growth, and that's one of the area I cover completely, there were 14 paragraphs in the joint statement. When we turn to high technology, space, and health, which is an area, fortunately, that I share, I don't have it all to myself, though I probably have most of it, there were 13 paragraphs. Now, in climate and energy, there were blissfully only 3 paragraphs. However, one of the paragraphs had 7 subparagraphs, so I guess I can't take too much comfort there. So you can see why I am scared. I am wondering when, if ever, I'm going to sleep, as you point out. For those of you out there keeping score, Defense and Homeland Security came in at 8 action-driven paragraphs, and Global and Regional Affairs tasked my political colleagues with 13 lines of action. Now, when you look at all of these things, you go, well, it's all very sort of pro forma, it's a document, it'll be signed and put into a shelf and covered with dust. But unfortunately, I don't think that's actually the case. And my lazy avatar certainly would like that to be the case, but I think it's demonstrably not so. And I make that point because the joint statement also keeps track of the progress already made in just 4 months since Prime Minister Modi was in Washington. And in those 4 months, and again, it's there in the joint statement, there were 3 pages and 32 items listed in just 4 months. So certainly there's been no let up from September until now, and I see no let up going forward. So we're going to keep very, very busy. But I do want to come back to the issue of symbolism, because I think it's a mistake to say the value is only in substance. I think symbolism has tremendous value. And I would like to cite a few of those examples before I call it the first time. President Obama made a very bold statement in his Siri Fort speech when he said that the US and India are not just natural partners, but the US can be India's best partner. Best partner. It's a big step. What else? You look at the Delhi Declaration of Friendship. Very unusual document, and it says the 2 sides agree to elevate our long-standing strategic partnership. Elevate. And then linked with that is the reaffirmation that our relationship is not exclusively about our 2 nations, but it's about the world at large. That the relationship between India and the United States can have a very important positive impact on the global field, not just bilaterally. So these are very important, but I guess the last one that I would mention is the radio address of the two leaders, the Man Ki Baat. You know, that's highly unusual. It was, in fact, an exceptional moment of convergence, and it sort of echoed to me in a way that spontaneous walk that the two leaders did in Washington when they went, breaking protocol a bit, and they went to the Martin Luther King Memorial and strolled together there. And this is the final quotation I would like to mention, because on that radio show, President Obama is quoted of profound philosophical insight espoused by Gandhiji. Now, we are surely quite familiar with hearing our political leaders talk about politics and talk about economics and talk about science and so forth, but we seldom see or hear a statement of philosophy delivered from the heart. And when we do hear that, it makes us sit up and take notice. So allow me to quote Obama, quoting Gandhiji. He said, "We should endeavor to seek God through service to humanity, because God is in everyone." Yes, indeed. Yes, she is. Thank you.